Because remember, relationships have to continue. And we always say the best of communicators are best of listeners. Even if you talk about matching, just now we talked about interpersonal relationship. You want to match with people. How could you match if you don't understand them? So it's very important that you put, this is a very common point which many people tend to miss out. I know it's very easy to answer, very easy to respond, but we are talking about listening well. Okay? You need to keep checking yourself. Am I listening or am I talking? Or am I listening or am I hearing? Is there an empathy in what I'm trying to put across? Empathy does not mean you're going to accept what they say, but can you put across things which makes them feel comfortable? Okay? That's what we say you have to do paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is something in terms of repeating what they are saying so that it clears a better understanding. People feel you're listening to them. Okay? Like we saw, it's all about reciprocating. It's not just about saying whatever you want. And then we feel, boss, I'm a great listener. The best of listeners are people who understand this concept of the difference between listening and hearing. And when you do a lot of research, every man says, I'm a great listener. But unfortunately, we are all very good in hearing. But are we really a good listener? Do we paraphrase? Do we put across ourselves in the other person's shoe? Only then you will understand. Today, even you look at organizations who have not listened to their customers, coming little to the corporate side, who have not listened, have not tried to understand what customers are looking for, have not lasted very long. If you are going to just do what you feel is right, it does not work. And that's what we're saying. Hearing is answering with own words, saying whatever you would like to say. So basically, if you look at the listening concept, what we say, a few more things. Listening is a use of thought process. When somebody says something, do I give it a thought process? Do I give it a small thought? And then I respond. Okay? That is when you tend to hurt people's feeling, not looking at what they are saying. When person is talking about something, always give it a small thought process. It never says you got to answer. Sometimes you may not need to answer also. You may just need to reciprocate with a nod of the head. But just a small thought process which goes. Because when you give a thought process, you are putting yourself into the other person's shoes. You are trying to understand and not doing a bland thing. Then that's what we say. Okay, hearing is a very impulsive reaction. That's what we say. Most of us are very comfortable with this. Okay, impulsive. Where we feel, yeah, he has said, let me. That's why we hear comments very often. Check for yourself. What are the comments? Why don't you listen to me? Why are you not understanding me? It becomes very, very impulsive. So always give it a small thought process. Look at what you are. And that are the skills to improve your listening. Okay? Hearing all of us can do. But effective people are people who listen well. Listen, whether it is your parents, whether it's your friends, whether it's your wife, or whether it's your colleagues or your boss, you need to listen well. Otherwise, you will always be in trouble. So don't be impulsive. And that's what we say. Listening is all about concern and respect. The concern you show to people and the respect what you give them. Okay? It's nice to talk about it, but practicing it is the key. Where I say next time, whenever you are speaking to people, give a small concern. Why is he or she telling this? What is he or she trying to tell to me? Can I understand it? Then I should give my response. Even in sales, what do we say? You know, you like a small example. You go to a shop, you want to buy something, and you say, yeah, I want to buy a dress. And as you are seeing, the person starts throwing 4 or 5 dresses at you. How do you react immediately? You say, boss, relax. Let me choose. Or first, let me tell you what I want. That's when you feel irritated. This guy doesn't understand me. He's not listening to what I'm looking for. Okay? And sometimes when he throws certain things at you, you don't respect it. Okay? And then you start feeling, am I the customer or he is the customer? So it's all about showing concern, showing a lot of respect, whereas hearing is about dominating. So quickly, if you look at the two, listening and hearing, can anybody tell what is the point we understood? How is listening different from hearing? Any one of you? Any one point can you say? What's the difference between listening and hearing? Anybody here? Basic difference. Yeah, sorry, I can't see who's talking. Pardon? Okay. Right. And what is hearing then? Not taking into the mind. Huh? but still not being kind. That's also important. Yeah, anybody else here? I think somebody from here, yeah. We need concentration, yeah. Yeah, we need eye contact. But if you maintain eye contact and stare at the beautiful girl, does it mean you're listening to her? No, nah. Isn't it? Okay. And she is talking about her family and you say, picture chaleng kya? She doesn't like it. That's when she has a fight with you. And she walks away. I don't know. I'm not saying it should happen to you. Just an example. Okay. So basically, like I said, listening is a point where people feel that you're understanding them. Remember, we talked about the benefits. It's about relationship. Okay. Tell me yourself, you all also have a group of friends. Which is a friend you really like? The person who understands you, listens to you. You are ready to share. And then he or she gives you the required information also. So that is what we say. Listening is an active process. Active is being, like you rightly said there, with your mind, putting it across in a way people can understand. Even when you go to buy something, this happens. You don't like it when the person tries to give you something which you are not looking. You can tell him, well, listen to me, understand me. Why don't you ask me for my choice? That irritates you and you tend to walk away. So even when you are with a friend, after some time he doesn't like to communicate with you. Why? Because you are just not ready to understand him. Okay? You are only busy talking what you want to talk. And that is not what listening is all about. The reason is not, the fault is not ours, because all of us feel that is listening. No, that is hearing and not listening. So taking it forward, what I'm trying to put across, when we talk about listen well, we say, okay, it's always about active listening. Active listening is understanding, first and foremost, deciding to listen, which itself is very, very important. Trying to understand what this person is trying to say. Okay, it's about showing a lot of concern to what he, it also happens in family life between husband and wife, okay, where he says something, she says something, and then after some time they feel, let's not talk to each other because he doesn't understand me, I don't understand. It's just a small concept of listening, but we don't show those concern. When we don't show that concern, automatically it leads to conflicts or arguments. Okay? I'm not saying you got to accept it, but you are not showing any concern at all to that person's views. That means you are not listening at all. That's why it happens. Even the other day, I do a lot of corporate programs. Like I said, having done more than 2,000 man days of training for various corporates. One question I always ask each one of them, do you feel unhappy when you go back home and you find a lot of things are happening you are not aware of? It surely hurts you. Things are happening at home between your wife, your child, and you are not aware of. He says, yes. I would share 50% of them say yes. 50% of them say, why? Why do they say yes? He says, I am the one working, earning, running the house, but a lot of things are happening where I am not informed. It feels very bad. So why does this happen? Why don't you go and check? That's what I do as an exercise. And when they come back the next day, it's a very simple answer you get back. Why? Because whether it's your wife or your child, says only one thing. We would like to, but no use, you don't want to listen to us. You don't want to understand us. So what's the use of telling it? Whereas he says, I'm spending time at home only. Not that I'm going out. But you may be there at home, but when they come to you for something, you are not open. You don't show concern, you don't show respect. Then why should they share it with you? And that's why you find slowly relationships also get affected. Okay? Even among friends, even among family, okay, even also in colleagues, these are small things which tend to happen. As a boss, when I go to him and I ask him certain things and he doesn't show concern, I'll give you a small example. The other day, in a corporate world, since I'm more there, there is a worker who comes to his boss and says, sir, I'm getting married. And what does the boss say? When? He says, I'm getting married. And what does he say? When? How would you react if you are that worker? Would you like it? No. Because why did the boss ask when? He was more worried what will happen to work. He had no concern for this guy. His leadership skills are zero. Fine. He says, I'm getting married on the 20th of next month. Yeah. So, sir, I want holiday. How many days do you want leave? and the guy says, sir, I want 10 days holiday. I want a 10-day leave. And you know what the immediate boss responds? Even for my marriage, I didn't take 10 days. Hey, who's bothered about your marriage here? He is coming and saying, I want 10 days. And he says, even for my marriage, I did not take 10 days. Now tell me, is this listening or hearing? Look at it yourself. Hearing. That is why what he does, he takes leave and does not inform for 20 days. And the boss gets angry. Why did he take leave? It happens. A lot of things happening in the office, but he doesn't know, because no use, telling him no use, he's not going to listen, he's not going to understand, he only believes in reacting. And that's what you say, the concern is very, very important. I'm not saying the boss should say, boss, instead of 10, take 20. Then the work will occur. But what could be the response? 10 days, fine. Why do you want 10 days? Is it really important? Can you not reduce it? That is active listening. That shows the concern. And that's what people expect, which is very minimum. Immediately when I came marriage, instead of saying congrats, that's a great news, maybe he's sad with his marriage, I don't know. So he doesn't want to say that. Maybe that could be the case, but he could have told, yeah, that's great. No, why? Because we don't believe in the empathy part of it. And when he says 10 days, I'm not saying he should have said, okay, take it. No? Maybe he could have negotiated, that's what is my next session when I come later. He need not have said yes, great. But he could have said, why do you need 10 days? Is it so important? And then he may have a reason, and then they may have a reason to say, but imagine an answer. Even I did not take 10 days for my marriage. Now that is not called listening. All of you must always give this a thought. Okay? It looks simple to listen, but do I really do that? Do I really show the concern? That's what. It's about showing concern, and it's about respect. What he or she is saying, you may not like it, but the respect is very, very important. Listening and reciprocating. Like it happens, you are looking at doing something, maybe your friend or colleagues do not like it, but giving respect to his thought is very, very important. Okay? Like I'm sure many of you here, sitting here, who have volunteered to come for the 24 hours, it's good, would have seen some of your friends and you're saying, I am going for this session, why don't you come? Okay? Tell me, I'm sure many of them would immediately respond, Borra, waste of time da. Tell me yes or no? Yes. How did you feel after that? Good? Would you like